Jay, and welcome back to Tears of the Kingdom. Today we're going to continue reading through the Hyrule Compendium. Hopefully we'll get through all the materials and weapons today. And treasure and finish up the compendium. Ooh. So, starting off with the fruits, of course. Apple. Apple. A common fruit eaten by people since ancient times. Eat it fresh or cook it to increase its effect. Golden apple. Minecraft moment. A rare, very sweet fruit. A rare, very sweet fruit that seems to have an extra sparkle to it, sometimes found near normal apples. It gives plus 20 seconds to apparently it gives plus 20 seconds to effect durations. I knew it increased duration to some degree, but I didn't know it would give you the actual number in the compendium. That's kind of cool. Palm fruit. Fruit from palm trees that grow near the ocean. It doesn't offer any special effects, but will increase your heart recovery when used as an ingredient. Wildberry. A fruit that grows in cold, snowy regions, known for its tangy, sweet flavor. It doesn't offer any special effects, but is a popular cooking ingredient. Hylian tomato. Kind of nice that tomatoes are in the game now. A fruit found widely from cold. Found wildly or widely? Widely. Yeah, widely. From cold areas to warm climates. Full of nutrition and kind of trendy lately. Use it in cooking to recover more hearts. Hydromelon. Pair of melons there. This resilient fruit can flourish even in the heat of the desert. The hydrating liquid inside provides a cooling effect that, when cooked, increases your heat resistance. Spicy pepper. This pepper is exploding with spice. Cook with it to create dishes that will raise your body temperature and help you withstand the cold. Volt fruit. Cacti found in the Gerudo Desert bear the sweet fruit. It's naturally insulated, so when cooked into a dish, it provides resistance against electricity. Fleet lotus seeds. Fleet lotus seeds. The plant that bears these seeds grows near deep water. The roots draw nutrients from the water, which boosts your movement speed when the seeds are cooked into a dish. Mighty bananas. This fruit grows mainly in tropical forests in the Faron region. When it is used as an ingredient, the resulting dish will temporarily increase your attack power. Fire fruit, and now we're in like the new fruits, which so there is one fruit from Breath of the Wild that I had completely forgotten about, but I saw in some videos, like watching back through them, that was taken out of Tears of the Kingdom for some reason, and that is the hardy durian. I don't know why they removed the hardy durian, because like for like Endura carrots, they kept it in, they just made it like less common, quite as OP. For the hardy durian, there's lots of full restore hardy foods in the game. I didn't feel like that was like that big of a deal to have, but apparently someone decided to cut it. Not sure why. But yeah, fire fruit. A fruit that generates heat when struck. Cooked correctly, its heating properties improve blood flow and stimulate muscles to raise attack power in high temperatures. It gives off an effect that strengthens muscles and increases attack power in cold temperatures. Splash fruit. A fruit that contains pressurized water. Interesting that it says pressurized. Cooking it brings out its ability to enhance swim speed when ingested. Oh! I didn't realize that's what one did. I knew you could throw it to like cool yourself off or put out like fires on the muck and shit. I didn't know it was the swim speed food. That's kind of nice. Shock fruit. When cooked correctly, this shockingly tasty fruit stimulates the consumer's muscles and grants increased attack power during thunderstorms. And dazzle fruit. A fruit charged with powerful light. Break it to unleash dazzling sparkles that find any monsters nearby. And I thought that was a bit OP, that it could make any monster drop weapon, ignoring like shock value and whatnot. But I actually didn't get many dazzle through my playthrough. They seemed a bit rarer than the other fruits, so maybe it is balanced correctly. And then into the mushrooms. Hylian shroom, a common mushroom found near trees around Hyrule. Eat it to restore half a heart. Sky shroom, a common mushroom that grows near trees on Sky Islands. Eat it to restore health. Endura shroom, a rare yellowish-orange mushroom. Cook it before eating to temporarily increase your stamina limit. Stamella shroom, a nutritious mushroom chock full of natural energy. Cook it to release its stamina restoration properties. Weird that Stamella is after Endura. That feels a little bit backwards to me. Hardy truffle. This rare mushroom has a rich scent. It will restore all your hearts and temporarily increase your maximum hearts when used in cooking. Big hardy truffle. They also, or no, extra hearts. Okay, I was about to say, do each of them only give one extra heart? But I think it just doesn't tell you the amount of extra hearts. Years of growing unpicked have allowed this hardy truffle to grow quite large. When cooked into a dish, it will restore all your hearts and temporarily increase your maximum hearts. It says years without being picked, but they do just naturally regenerate every few hours of playing the game, so not really. Chill shroom, often found at the base of pine trees in cold climates. These mushrooms are cool to the touch and can be used to cook dishes that allow you to stay cool even in arid regions. Sunshroom, a bright red mushroom. I don't know if I call that bright red. A bright red mushroom that grows in hot climates. Imbued with the power of heat, it can be used to cook dishes that will allow you to endure the bitter cold. Zapshroom. Interesting that it's like the same model. Might be the same for all three of them, but like that's definitely the same model for these two. And it's not for like the other mushroom types. Zapshroom. This mushroom grows wild in the Garuda region. The cap is naturally insulated, so when used in cooking, it will offer protection against electricity. Rushroom. A mushroom that can grow almost anywhere, but prefers ceilings and sheer cliffs. Cook it before eating to temporarily increase your movement speed. Razor shroom. This mushroom is known for the natural slice in its cap. Eating it fosters your competitive spirit. Use it when cooking to prepare a dish that will increase your strength. Iron shroom. The cap of this mushroom is very hard. Use it when cooking to prepare a dish that increases your defense. I love a hard mushroom. Silent shroom. A strange mushroom that glows softly in the forest at night. Cooking it into a dish unlocks the nutrients in its cap, resulting in a meal that will allow you to move stealthily. Bright cap. A mushroom that grows in caves and contains luminescent enzymes. Cook it in a dish to give a glowing effect to anyone that eats it. And I think I brought this up before at some point, but it is kind of like weird that like all of the, because of course the glowing status effect was not in the original game. All the things that were bioluminescent in the original game give you stealth up, where all the things that are bioluminescent in this game give you the glow status effect, which is like weird that there's a difference at all is a bit strange. The only like biological thing I could point out that could maybe possibly be the cause of that is most of the things that glow in this game are purple. So maybe the purple bioluminescent thing is what makes you glow, and the other bioluminescents are all somehow stealth. I don't know. Puff shroom, my boy. Actually, not my boy. A mushroom that spreads a cloud of fine spores when a stimulus is applied. The bitter powder makes it inedible. It's one of my boys, but not my main boy. Pitcher plant looking ass. Hyrule herb into the veggies. This healthy herb has not changed since ancient times. Cook it before eating it to increase the number of hearts it restores. Stamina bulb. Or just stam bulb, not stamina bulb. I always call it stamina bulb, but it's just stam bulb. A wild plant with bulging roots, often found in cooler climates. Great Sky Island and Thunderhead Isles, those are not super cold, but okay. Were these not in the original? I thought they were. A wild plant with bulging roots, often found in colder climates. It contains nutrients that increase endurance. Cook it to restore stamina. Hardy radish. A rare radish. I guess it's just more common in the sky, because these were definitely in the original game. A rare radish that grows best in sunny plains. Common locations are not sunny plains. Cook it before eating to restore all your hearts and temporarily increase your maximum hearts. Big hardy radish. Not much of a base heal up than the regular, actually. This hardy radish is much larger than the average radish. When cooked into a dish, it restores all your hearts and temporarily increases your maximum hearts. It's cool Safina. The medicinal plant grows, and I guess the Safinas are the same model too, so it shouldn't surprise me that the Zapshroom is probably the same models. Cool Safina. This medicinal plant grows in high elevations, such as mountains in the Hebra or Garuda regions. When cooked into a dish, it will temporarily increase your heat resistance. Weird that common locations is not the Garuda regions, but okay. Warm Safina. This medicinal plant grows in hot regions, such as the Garuda Desert. It's warm to the touch and increases your cold resistance when cooked into a dish. Electric Safina. This medicinal plant grows abundantly in the Garuda Desert. Its peculiar fibers conduct electricity, which will increase your electricity resistance when cooked into a dish. It's just not striking me that it's a little bit weird that for heat and cold, their cooking effects provide resistance to the opposite element, but then for shock, it's the same element. That's a little bit strange, but okay. Swift carrot. This carrot is cultivated extensively in villages. It strengthens the legs and hips when cooked into a dish, which helps increase your movement speed. Endura carrot. Highly valued as a medicinal plant, this carrot contains large amounts of nourishing energy. When cooked into a dish, it boosts your stamina beyond its maximum limit. Fortified pumpkin. An extremely tough pumpkin raised for food. When cooked, the toughness manifests itself by a considerably upping defense. Sun pumpkin. A new variety of pumpkin that soaks up the sunshine in a Tino village. Baked into a dish, it can help heal the effects of exposure to gloom. Very useful. Swift violet. This vitality-rich flower, now we're into flowers. This vitality-rich flower blooms mainly on cliff sides. When cooked into a dish, the nourishing compounds increase your movement speed. Mighty thistle. This medicinal plant is known for its sharp thorns and for the fruit it bears. The fruit contains a compound that increases attack power when cooked into a dish. It's actually kind of weird that I use mighty banana so much and barely ever use the mighty thistle. I guess it's just because thanks to the Yiga, bananas are a bit more common. But like, I don't know if they provide the same amount of attack up or not. Amaranth. This tough medicinal plant cannot be broken, but it can be cooked. Its durable yet flexible fibers raise your defense when cooked into a dish. Blue nightshade. And I'm pretty sure that when you roast them, it comments on how it's easier to chew now. I remember that from when we did the cooking thing. Blue nightshade. A plant that grows in quieter areas of Hyrule. At night, it gives off a soft glow. Cook it to increase your stealth. Very pretty plant. Really like it. Sundelion. A wild plant that grows in the sun at high altitudes. Soaked in sunlight, its petals can restore health depleted by gloom when used in cooking. Bright bloom seed. Where's the? Okay, it's a bit lower down the list then. Bright bloom seed. A seed that's often found in caves or wells. When struck, it will take root and bloom, giving off a faint light from a small flower. Giant bright bloom seed. A seed that's found underground. When struck, it will take root and bloom, radiating a large amount of light from a big flower. I got the picture of the actual flower for this one, but I got the item from the wrong angle on this one. Oops. Muddlebud now. This is my boy. Actually, now that I look at it, it's weird that the roots are above ground, even when it naturally spawns, but whatever. I guess a lot of things are slightly uprooted in the depths. Muddlebud. A wild flower with a powerful odor that can disorient and confuse, making it difficult to tell friend from foe. Bombflower. A dangerous flower that contains explosive elements. Does not mix well with fire or electricity. Ooh, I remember reading the tooltip before. I completely forgot that you can use electricity to set these off. Does not mix well with fire or electricity, unless the goal is to blow something up, which it usually is. Silent Princess. Okay, I'm actually curious. Yeah, the Sunlight is decently different. I wasn't sure how similar they were because they're both like 5-pronged flowers, but like the rest of them is pretty different. Silent Princess, Akala Highlands and Hyrule Ridge. This lovely flower was said to have been a favorite of the princes of Hyrule. They were once feared to have gone extinct, but it's not uncommon to spot them growing in the wild. The Breath of the Wild. Very pretty last cutscene in the original game when they were all sprouting up. Courser bee honey. Honey straight from the hive is chock full of nutrients. Cooking this into a meal unlocks the potential of these nutrients and provides a stamina recovery effect. I'm actually curious whether or not, like, the full yellow ones on the left, are those actual honey, but, like, the slightly whitish ones, are those, like, larvae of the bee? Because they could be. Hylian Pinecone. Grows on trees found all over Hyrule. It contains oil and burns well. Throw it into a fire to increase the intensity of the flame. Korok Frond. A mysterious leaf that looks like it might be hiding something behind it. It has some medicinal value. Attached to a stick and can be used as a fan. I heard a bit of a theory the other day that Korok masks might be made out of Korok Fronds, which would, like, explain the name. Choo Choo Jelly. A gelatinous substance. Oh. Adds 40 plus duration to an effect. I guess that's because his monster parts all affect elixirs. Choo Choo Jelly. Are we at monster parts now? A gelatinous substance that came from Choo Choo. It's unusable in this state, but applying a bit of elemental stimulation will change its form. It's unusable. They say it's unusable, but it can provide a cooling effect with the water. It can get you wet, which is sometimes very nice. Red Choo Choo Jelly. A jiggly substance that normally comes from fire Choo Choo. It consistently gives off heat. If struck, it will explode in a ball of flame. Oh, they give it extra effect duration, the colored Choo Choo Jelly, so that's kind of nice. I don't know if they sell for more or not. I think it's like 2 for the base and 3 for the specials that they sell for rupees. But I can't remember. White Choo Choo Jelly. Yeah, it is color-based. White White choo-choo jelly, a jiggly substance that came from an ice choo-choo. It's cold to the touch, and squeezing it seems to relieve stress. If struck, it will explode in a cold mist. I don't know if you should squeeze it to relieve stress, if that could potentially make it explode, though. Yellow choo-choo jelly, a jiggly substance that came from an electric choo-choo. Electricity pulses through its gelatinous mass. If struck, it will explode in a burst of electric current. Keith's eyeball. Kind of interesting that there's like the actual, what are they called? They're not the actual nerve endings, but the bit that like link the nerve endings to the bits that the rods and cones where they all kind of like meet on the back of the eye. I'm just now noticing that. That's kind of neat. Keith's eyeball. These mysterious orbs scan their surroundings. They take advantage of their glaring awareness and attach one to an arrow to grant a homing quality to the arrow. Firekeith's eyeball. Firekeith's eyeballs are imbued with heat and are useful in making elixirs. Attach one to an arrow to grant a homing quality to the arrow. Icekeith's eyeball. Icekeith's eyeballs are imbued with freezing power and are useful in making elixirs. Attach one to an arrow to grant a homing quality to the arrow. Electric Keith's eyeball. Electric Keith's eyeballs are imbued with electric power and are used in making elixirs. Attach one to an arrow to grant a homing quality to the arrow. Like stone. A strange round stone from a like, made of crystallized inner fluids. It's a good ingredient for elixirs. Fire-like stone. And these actually have the same effect duration. All of them. That's interesting. Fire-like stone. A stomach stone that persists even at high temperatures. It retains heat even outside of the body of the creature that it contained it, which makes it a useful elixir ingredient. Ice-like stone. A stomach stone kept cold inside a very low-temperature body. It stays cold even outside the body of the creature that contained it. Cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Shock-like stone. A stomach stone exposed to high voltage inside the body of a shock-like. It maintains some charge even outside the creature. Cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Aracuda eyeball. I got the backwards angle on that one. Oops. This eyeball is constantly trying to focus on its targets. Cook it with a critter to make an elixir, or attach it to an arrow to grant a homing quality to the arrow. Gibdo bone. Oh, that's right. I can't believe I forgot that there was a bunch of them on display during the fight in Gerudo Town. That's kind of interesting. I forgot about that. Oh, so the guts and the wings. Oh, God. That was building. A creepy bone with multiple sharp tips. Attach it to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. It tends to break easily due to its odd shape. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be their spine and their rib cage, too. Although it feels a little bit smaller. Bokoblin horn. A sharp horn with multiple barbs. Attach it to a weapon to increase its attack power, or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Blue bokoblin horn. Maybe I should have saved my comments on what I thought of the horns till we got to here, but whatever. Actually, same effect duration for all the horns. That's actually kind of lame. You expect the higher quality horns to give you extra effect duration to because of course, the potion sells for more, but it would be cool if that would improve the actual quality of the potion. Blue bokoblin horn. A two-pronged horn with sharp edges and tips. Attach it to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power, or brew with a critter to make an elixir. Black bokoblin horn. A vicious three-pronged horn. Attach it to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power, or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Silver bokoblin horn. A large blade-like horn with a unique flourish on the tip. It's sharper than it looks. Attach it to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power, or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Boss bokoblin horn. The band on the sword-shaped horn shows that it belonged to a leader. Attach it to a weapon to increase its attack power, or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. I don't think it needs the band to tell you that it's from a leader. It should be obvious because of its shape. Again, only 40 though. Maybe all horns just do 40 because in this game you're not supposed to be using them for elixirs. In this game you're supposed to be using them for weapon fuses. So giving them an elixir effect would be a bit dumb. We'll see if the other ones all do 40 or not. Blue boss bokoblin horn. An axe-shaped horn with a band to identify as belonging to a leader. Attach it to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power, or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. I'm going to stop reading the critter and elixir bit from now on because it's getting boring. They're repetitive. Black boss bokoblin horn. A double-edged axe-shaped horn with two leader bands. Attach to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. Silver boss bokoblin horn. A circular serrated horn. The neatly tied strap contains arcane power. Attach it to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. It doesn't look like it has arcane power, definitely. Was my first one I got from the gambling minigame in Lurelin, or no? I thought I had one before then, but I'm not sure. A Moblin Horn. A hard horn that resulted from a skull mutation. Ugh. Attached to a weapon to increase its attack power. I guess that makes sense why it looks like the dinosaur skull thing then. Blue Moblin Horn. A large curved horn with 2 extremely hard tips. Attached to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power. Black Bokoblin Horn. A hefty horn with multiple tough barbs. Attached to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. Silver Moblin Horn. A nasty-looking rock-hard horn. Attached to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. Lizalfos Horn. A thin, sharp, knife-like horn. I'm going to stop reading the weapon bit now, too. Lizalfos Horn. A thin, sharp, knife-like horn. Blue Lizalfos Horn. A very long, sword-like horn. Black Lizalfos Horn. A blade-like, serrated horn. Fire Breath Lizalfos Horn. A horn that glows red with the power of fire. The right combination could draw out the blazing... a horn that glows red with the power of fire. Cook it with a critter to make an elixir. The right combination could draw out the blazing power contained within. Ice Breath Lizalfos Horn. The freezing power embedded in this horn's crystal tip can be used to your advantage if you know how. Otherwise, cook it with a critter to make an elixir. Electric Lizalfos Horn. A horn charged with as much electricity as a bolt of lightning. Cook it with a critter to make an elixir. It will discharge electricity when stimulated. I'm wondering if that tip on the fire horn means that there is a specific combo that you could get a potion effect from these 3 horns. Because that would make sense if the elemental horns did have potion effects. Silver Lizalfos Horn. A sickle-shaped horn that looks like it could slice through anything it touches. Horriblin Horn. An elongated hammer-shaped horn with a hard, flat front. Blue Horriblin Horn. A hammer-shaped horn with spiky bumps, attached to a weapon. Black Horriblin Horn. This large, heavy horn has slowly grown into its present hammer-like shape. It has slowly grown, but they were all hammer-shaped. So I guess it just grew into this unique hammer shape. Silver Horriblin Horn. A curved horn with an extremely hard tip. Lionel Saber Horn. This blade-like Lionel horn is extremely sharp. It increases a weapon's attack power when attached. Lionel Mace Horn. A hard, curved Lionel horn. It isn't fully grown, but it can be attached to a weapon to increase its attack power. Blue main silver Lionel horn. That would explain why it's so stumpy if it hasn't fully grown. Blue maned Lionel saber horn. A sharp blade-like horn of a blue maned Lionel. Blue maned Lionel mace horn. Its ends are split apart, but this horn from a blue maned Lionel is solid. It actually looks very hand-like here. I kind of mentioned like the different angles it was pointed at. It looks a lot like a hand here. That makes it look a bit cooler. White maned silver saber horn. This blade-like horn of a white maned Lionel can slash through just about anything. White maned Lionel mace horn. The claw-like ends of this white maned Lionel horn are all extremely hard. Actually, did I get? I'm not sure if I did, because that was a Colton reward. I don't, because I had like an off number of like blue horns at one point. I thought that was from Colton, but apparently that was from the whites were from Colton. I don't know what that's about then. I just started noticing the extra prong on the bottom of that one. The extra 3 prongs. Silver Lionel saber horn. This piercing horn is sharpened to a point for maximum poking. Silver Lionel mace horn. This wickedly barbed silver Lionel horn is as hard as a diamond. It deals like twice as much damage as a diamond, though, so you'd think it'd be harder than diamond. Question mark? Soldier construct horn. I kind of like how the base of it looks a bit like the base of a steering stick, that kind of like flat round thing. That's kind of funny. A blade-like horn from a soldier construct. It's very sharp, so handle with care. And of course, you can't cook these ones. There was that book from that one guy that talked about it. A soldier construct 2. A sharp hooked horn dropped from a soldier construct 2. It's well suited for slicing through small branches and plants. Attached to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power. So what if it actually functions as an axe then? Construct 3 or Soldier 3. A serrated horn from a Soldier Construct 3. Attached to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. It can cut through plants and large trees. Soldier Construct 4 horn. A horn embedded with a sharp disc. The disc spins mysteriously and can slice through almost anything. Attach the horn to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. The eye actually has a bit of a pupil here, which I don't know if I noticed before or not. But yeah, axe apparently. They're supposed to be axes, which is kind of nice. Oh, there's like an eye at the base of this one. I wonder if there's eye imagery in all of them that I'm missing. Because I see the eye in this guy. I see the eye in this guy. Or no. I see the eye in this guy. I see an eye in this guy. I can't see anything from that angle. I don't see any eyes there. So I don't know. Maybe not. This wavy double-edged blade-like horn is formidable when it comes to slashing. Attached to a weapon to increase its attack power. I don't know if I commented on this when we were doing the monster compendium entries, but I do love how the Captain Constructs use their horns. Their just whole ass head just goes woo, woo, and it's hilarious. Or maybe it's the soldiers. Whatever. Captain Construct 2, again, it has an eye. It has an eye at the base. A sharp blade-like horn with a split tip that easily slices through anything it touches. Attached to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power. Captain Construct 3 horn. And this the eyes further up on this one. Oh, there's two eyes on this one. One at the base and one at the tip. A sharp blade-like horn with a complex tip. It looks almost decorative. Attached to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. And they actually have locations for a lot of these, but these ones are unknown. Captain Construct 4 horn. A mean-looking, branching blade-like horn. Its edges and tips are extremely sharp. Attached to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. Hinox horn. A horn wrapped in spiked wood. Attached to a weapon, make a critter for an elixir. Yeah, a horn wrapped in spiked wood. Okay. So that's why it looks like a split log. Yeah, I see it now. The actual horn is like poking out of the middle. And you can see a bit of it at the base, but they got the log and the rope around it. That's kind of neat that they're buffing up their own horns. Blue Hinox horn. This mean-looking horn is wrapped in hard chains. Yeah. Black Hinox horn. A horn wrapped in dangerous debris. Now this one, yeah, actually I can't see the actual horn poking at the middle there then. Yeah. So I wonder if all of the Hinoxes have the same horn then. It's just they have different stuff attached to it. A horn wrapped in dangerous debris. It's easy to work with and greatly increases the attack power of a weapon when attached. Stalnox horn, and that just freaking badass. I love it. The impaled skulls should serve as a warning, but if you do obtain one, attached to a weapon increases its attack power. Molduga jaw, a hard jawbone. Its shape allows a Molduga some maneuverability in the sand. Attached to a weapon to greatly increase its attack power. Gliok flame horn. Oh, I'm just noticing like the pink of the crystal on the inside. I never really paid much attention to the crystal on the inside of them, but they're a different color than the actual like marbling of the element. That's kind of cool. A crown-like, fire-imbued horn of a Gliok. Attached to a weapon to vastly increases attack power, quicker to make an elixir. Gliok frost horn. It annoys me that it's a flame Gliok and a frost Gliok, but then it's Gliok flame horn. Gliok frost horn. That's a bit annoying. Gliok frost horn. A crown-like, frost-imbued horn of a Gliok. Gliok Thunderhorn, a crown-like, lightning-imbued horn of a Gliok. Although, having just said that, now that I read the tooltip, to be fair, you don't just get Gliok Thunder horns from Thunder Glioks. You also get them from King Glioks, for example. So it's like, it is a Gliok horn that has thunder. It doesn't have to be a Thunder Gliok's horn. I guess, okay, fair enough. Technically, that makes sense, but it still is a little bit tongue-twisty. Frox Fang, a giant ore-crunching Frox Fang, attached to a weapon to moderately increase its attack power. Oh, so do the Froxes eat Zonite then? Because they drop Zonite from their back. I don't remember if they drop any Zonite when you actually kill them. But is their nest a food stock instead? Maybe? I don't know. Or crunching, though. That's interesting. Obsidian Frox. Yeah, Obsidian Frox Fang. A giant fang for excavating and crushing ores. Yeah, they eat ore, apparently. Interesting. Blue-White Frox Fang. A giant fang that can easily dig through solid bedrock. Huh. If they eat ores, though, it's weird that they eat, like, animals, too. But I guess you have to have a varied diet. I mean, like, we eat plants and meat, so... Fair enough. Fair game. Dinral's Horn. A sharp horn... adds 30 minutes to duration, by the way, which is, like, really fucking good. That's crazy. A sharp horn of the red spirit Dinral. It is said to be the crystallized power of fire itself. Attach the blade-shaped horn to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. Shard of Dinral's spike. Only lasts a minute and a half. Less than a minute and a half for the spikes, though. An incredibly hard stone mined from a spike on Dinral's back. It is very destructive when fused to a weapon. It also imbues that weapon with the power of flame. I think it would also work with arrows, because these feel more like arrow things to me, the spikes, because you get... Because like usually with the monsters, their horns, the weapons you get one of, are supposed to be for your weapons, where stuff like the fangs and the toenails that you get multiple of are supposed to be for arrows. But also most of the shit that you get for arrows, like the toenails, you don't add to the compendium. So the fact that this is added to the compendium does give it points for actual weapons. But I would have, if I had used Dragon Parts for combat, the spikes probably would have been for arrows in my book. Nidra's Horn. A sharp horn of the blue spirit Nidra. It is said to be the crystallized power of ice itself. Attach the blade-shaped horn to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. Shard of Nidra's Spike. An incredibly hard stone mined from a spike on Nidra's back. It is very destructive when fused to a weapon, and it also imbues that weapon with the power of ice. Feroce Horn. A sharp horn of the golden spirit Feroce. It is said to be the crystallized power of electricity itself. Attach the blade-shaped horn to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. See, here's the thing. I complained about this in Breath of the Wild too. The colors of the lightning element are kind of all over the place, aren't they? Because, like, okay, fair enough. Things like the ice keys, the lightning Lizalfos, debatably the lightning choo-choos, and like the topazes, yeah, those are yellow. But the choo-choos are bordering on green territory. And then you get to the actual choo-choo jelly, the electric choo-choo jelly, and Feroce. And I'd call both of those lime green. I would definitely say those are lime green in coloration. But the game Compendium calls out the choo-choo jelly as being yellow, and then Feroce as being gold. Which I don't really agree with either of those. I don't think either of those quite fit. It is said to be the crystallized power of electricity itself. Attach the blade-shaped horn to a weapon to vastly increase its attack power. Shard of Feroce Spike. An incredibly hard stone mined from a spike on Feroce's back. It is very destructive when fused to a weapon, and it also imbues that weapon with the power to shock. Light Dragon's Horn. A horn chipped off of the Light Dragon. Its gentle glow has a calming effect, and it has a mysterious healing power when attached to a weapon. I do kind of regret putting the Sandsteel plush on my Hylian shield. I think it would have made more sense to put a healing thing on there so I'd actually use that shield and could be healed while using that shield, but whatever. Shard of Light Dragon Spike. Shard of Light Dragon Spike, not Shard of the Light Dragon Spike. Which I guess it still works, but it's a little bit odd. I guess it's less of a mouthful. An incredibly hard stone mined from a spike on the Light Dragon's back. It is very destructive when fused to a weapon, and it also imbues that weapon with healing power, which feels counterintuitive. I don't know whether it damages the enemy and heals you, or if it heals both you and the enemy, or if it just heals the enemy. I can't imagine it just heals the enemy, because that would be pointless. But, whatever. Master Sword. Link showing off his hips there. Revitalized Sword of... Oh, properties, Revitalized Sword of Legend. Oh, we've hit weapons. Okay, yeah, we're in weapons now. In the sword category. Properties, the Revitalized Sword of Weapon. Sword of Legend. The legendary sword that seals the darkness. Its corruption was healed by its time with the Light Dragon. Its corruption was healed by its time with the Light Dragon. The blade gleams with a sacred luster that can oppose the Demon King. Tree Branch, technically a sword. Wooden branches such as this are pretty common, but is surprisingly well balanced. It doesn't do much damage, but can serve as a weapon in pinch. Torch. Torch. This torch will stay lit once ignited, but if you put it away, the flame will be extinguished until you light it again. Soup ladle. A kitchen implement, so it's all just like the wooden stuff for the actual swords, I guess. A kitchen implement often used for serving delicious soups. It was carved from the wood of a sturdy tree, so it actually packs quite the wallop. It's not quite as ladle-ish as I remember here. Maybe there's a few different ones, though. Boomerang! A decayed wooden boomerang. A useful tool that comes back after you throw it. Its current state has not lessened its performance. I never really used the boomerangs in either game, and I regret that because they do look really fun, especially if you put like a Lizzle tail or another boomerang part on them. Boomerang Star. This throwing weapon was originally used by the forest-dwelling Koroks. Its unique shape allows it to return after being thrown. And I think I'm going to try and, weigh. I'm just going to look at, a glance, and if the pristine weapon's description is too close to the original, we just won't read it. A sea breeze boomerang. A boomerang said to have been used by a hero who traveled the Great Sea. It smells faintly of salt water. It's the thing I always wondered, and I still haven't found any answers to this, because I never really looked into it. I always wondered that for the amiibo weapons, if you popped an amiibo and got their weapon in Breath of the Wild, would you then have to add that weapon to the compendium or not? Because there'd be no reason to, because you can't track it with your sensor 90% of the time. But also, it would be weird to have a weapon in the game that wouldn't be in the compendium. So, I don't know. Traveler Sword. An average sword used largely by travelers. The blade is decayed, but it can still serve its purpose. A very common sword often kept by travelers to fend off small beasts. It's fairly durable, but a bit unreliable against monsters. Soldier's Broadsword with Quick Charge. I gotta say, Quick Charge, fucking love it. Barely used it in the game at all, but a big reason I didn't use Charge Attack much in Breath of the Wild is because it felt like in the amount of time it took to get a Charge Attack off, you could usually get roughly the same amount of regular attacks in just spamming, swinging the weapon. But with a charge attack, you run the risk of being hit and ending your charge and then not getting any hits off. And so I didn't use it much, but the few times I used this weapon and its quick charge in this game, it was amazing. It is so much better. It makes charge attacks so good. I love it. Great weapon. Just going to throw it out there. Weapons having unique special modifiers for specific conditions in this game now makes it way more worth it to diversify your weapon portfolio and experiment with playstyles. It's very cool. A light, thin metal sword used by the guards of Hyrule Castle. Its lightweight makes it easier to handle and enables quicker charge attacks. A sword brandished by soldiers who want to protect Hyrule Castle. Its blade is well tuned for slaying monsters, as it enables quicker charge attacks. Knight's Broadsword with Desperate Strength. Knights of Hyrule Castle once carried this sword. Even in its decayed state, it shows its true resolve and desperation, and can yield powerful attacks when you're down to your last heart. Knight's Broadsword. Knights of Hyrule Castle once carried the sword. It can yield powerful attacks when you're down to your last heart. Royal Broadsword. Improved Flurry Rush, which I never use Flurry Rushes, which... Sorry, guys, not engaging with the Zelda combat in the Zelda game. Oops. A sword gifted to accomplished knights by the royal family. Crafted for sword masters, it increases the power of Flurry Rush during a perfect dodge. Royal Broadsword. Same way, this is the star version. The Hyrulean royal family would award this sword to knights who achieve remarkable feats. It increases the power of Flurry Rush during a perfect dodge. Forest Dweller's Sword. Fused Recycling. Is that what it's called? That's kind of a fun name for it. I appreciate that. Reuse, reduce, and recycle, kids. Protect the Korok Forest. A living wooden Korok sword with a decayed blade. Bursting materials attached to the tip can be reused again and again. Koroks crafted this wooden sword for Hylians. It may not be the best choice for head-on attacks, but bursting materials attached to the tip can be reused again and again. Zora Sword. Water Warrior. Deals extra damage when you're wet, which actually gives Sidon some purpose in, very select conditions. A long Zora Sword with a decaying blade. Made of a metal favored by the Zora. It yields a high attack power when it gets wet. A unique sword with a thin blade of Zora design that yields high attack power when wet. This blade takes the water like a Zora. Feathered Edge. I always call it Feathered Eagle, but that's not what it's called. Wind Burst. It makes a big, burst of wind to knock enemies back. A double-edged Reno sword with a decayed blade. Swinging it produces a strong wind. They keep saying double-edged, even though most of these swords are double-edged. Reno craftsmen forged this lightweight double-edged sword so Reno warriors can maneuver quickly in midair. Swinging it produces a strong wind. Gerudo Scimitar. A decaying scimitar from the Gerudo region. It is designed for maximizing force. Attaching a material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. Oh, and actually the stars say unknown, which feels a little bit dumb, because once you find them, you realize, oh, they're in the depths of these regions. There's no real reason for the game to say unknown here, but okay. Attaching material greatly enhances the material's attack power, the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. The most commonly used sword in the Gerudo region. Attaching a material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. And that ability is called Strong Fusion, apparently. Scimitar of the Seven. Oh, that is Strong Fusion too. That explains why that like silver moblin horn, whatever I put on it, was doing so much damage. That answers that question that I had in the back of my mind for like 30, 50 plus streams. A famous sword once beloved by the Gerudo champion Urbosa. It is said that when Urbosa swung the sword in battle, her movements resembled a beautiful dance. Eightfold Blade. Improved sneak strike. A single-edged sword of the Sheikah tribe. Its blade is small, now decayed. Its small blade, now decayed, is suited for covert actions and yields more powerful sneak strikes than ordinary blades. Which, like, sneak strikes were already pretty good. I don't know if it had this in the original game or not. It might have, but nice, better for improved sneak strike. Very cool. A single-edged sword traditional to the Sheikah tribe. It may be among the sharpest conventional weapons ever made. It can yield more powerful sneak strikes. Rusty Broadsword. The once fearsome sword has seen this once fearsome sword has seen better days. It can do some damage in the right hands, but it breaks quickly. Sword of the Hero. A sword once wielded by a hero in ancient age. Once wielded by a hero in an ancient age. When it's grasped, a strange sense of nostalgia washes over you. Take it when going alone would otherwise be dangerous. Royal Guard Sword. Breaking Point. A prototypical sword for knights. Its metal may not be as durable as others, but the sword yields massive destructive power just before it breaks. And it actually just struck me as weird. A weapon made by the Sheikah tribe using ancient technology. Its low durability is a downside, but it yields massive destructive power just before it breaks. Something that just struck me as a little bit weird is, of course, there's magic going on because of Blood Moon and there being a ghost and whatnot. But, like, all those fallen soldiers in the depths are wielding weapons respective to their regions. And most of those weapons are like traditional weapons. And so you could believably think that this is a soldier that could have died ages and ages ago wielding this weapon. And like they and their weapon moved on to the depths, like theoretically. But for the Royal Guard's weapons, they were prototypes that seemingly were developed very shortly before the Calamity. And in the original game, you could only find them in Hyrule Castle. These probably did not see much use in like the wider world and the battlefield. So how are there so many of them in the depths? Again, it's magic, video game logic, but like throwing that out there, that's a little bit whack. White Sword of the Sky. The interspersing of the amiibo weapons in the sword menu has been a little bit weird so far. You expected the Hero Sword and the White Sword of the Sky to be together and with the the White Sword. Okay, yeah. You would have expected those two to be next to each other. White Sword of the Sky. Yeah, only 30 on that one. That's actually not that much. A sword said to have once belonged to a hero from the sky. Its beautiful white blade stands out. When it's wielded, a strange yet heavy breeze kicks up around you. A strange yet heavenly breeze kicks up around you. And it is a little bit weird that, like, at least if I remember right, didn't the White Sword of the Sky turn into the Master Sword? So it's weird that the Master Sword and the Sword of the Sky both exist right now simultaneously. That makes it feel like, because like a lot of people debate about like the timelines of how is Breath of the Wild merged all the timelines? How is their loot surviving from every single timeline? Well, again, royal weapons, there not being that many Royal Guards weapons out there, and yet there being so many in the depths. This could just be a magical recreation of the White Sword of the Sky. And it could be that, like, oh, Zelda 1 didn't necessarily take place before Tears of the Kingdom. It's just that the magic gods of that world knew of that reality and how to copy that sword. Maybe. Just throwing that out there as a crazy fan theory. Okay, now we're at wooden sticks. It's weird that these are not with the tree branches, but okay. Or rather, it's weird that the tree branches aren't here because the Master Sword is number 1. Wooden stick. A tree branch with an added grip and an excellent balance. Equip it and use it as a weapon. Because it even calls it out as a tree branch. Sturdy wooden stick. A stick made out of a hard tree branch. This tree soaked up lots of sunshine, so it's sturdier than the regular stick and has high durability. Gnarled wooden stick. A very swingable stick made by honing a dried branch to the proper thickness and length. Its attack power is much greater than that of a normal stick. Lizzle boomerang. Oh, the thick gnarled stick is not here. I guess it's like a spear. There's like a spear and a double hand. Okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Lizzle boomerang. Weird that these are not with the other boomerangs. A curved sword favored by the Lizalfos. It's made of metal, so it can safely it's made of metal, so it can safely be used near fire. If you throw it, it will return to you. That's a bonus on the other boomerangs, because all the other boomerangs are wood. Zonite sword, zonite powered, because it increases the attack power of zonite devices. A zonite sword made of zonite. It resonates with attached zonite devices to slightly increase its attack power. Strong zonite sword. A strong zonite sword, and this one has the eye image. Actually, they both have the eye imagery. This one have like eyes around the tip too, not the hilt, like where the blade comes out. A strong zonite sword made of zonite. It resonates with attached zonite devices to increase the sum of its attack power. Mighty zonite sword, a powerful sword used by the zonite made of zonite to greatly increase the attack power. Magic rod, a small and intensely magic rod. It's said to have been wielded by an ancient magician who awoke maximum latent power in gems. Like sort of like rosebud feel to the black end of it. Oh, so yeah, the other rods must be spear and double hand, but that must actually be how they function then, because they're not next to this guy. Bokoblin arm, a skeletal arm that keeps moving even after it's severed from its body. It's kind of gross to strap it to your back, but it'll do in a pinch. It's old and fragile, so it's quick to break. Lizalfos arm, I was gonna ask, are Lizalfos in the arms in this game? I don't remember them at all, but they are. It's just we didn't fight Lizalfos that often. The arm of a Stolizalfos. I thought they were Stolizalfos, but it's Stolizalfos. The arm of a Stolizalfos that continues to struggle even in death. It can be used as a weapon, but it's very brittle. You can feel it wriggling when you strap it on your back. Gloom sword. This slender sword with an ominous presence is said to... Gloom Toll is what it's called, the effect. That's actually a very cool name for that. The slender sword with an ominous presence. It's said to end the life of anyone it touches. Its gloom will gradually wear down the body of its wielder. Its gloom will gradually wear down the body of its wielder, but only when you attack. Farming hoe. That's what they called me in college. What? A farming tool primarily used for tilling fields. Its fine craftsmanship is sturdy enough to withstand backbreaking field work, but its battle applications are untested. Boat oar. Made for paddling boats, but it was made sturdy enough to fight strong currents. Maybe it's useful for self-defense in a pinch. Giant boomerang. And I think these two also were technically in the double-handed weapons. Now, we're definitely in them now. Giant boomerang. A massive boomerang that is weathered and decayed. It was originally used for hunting, but it can be a challenge to wield. Thrown well, it will come back to the thrower. And of course, didn't use boomerangs, so I never noticed this or realized it. But apparently, they changed the sound effect. Apparently, there was like a really hefty flying sound effect of this in Breath of the Wild. But in Tears of the Kingdom, they changed it, so now the giant boomerang has the basic boomerang's sound effect, and that giant sound effect is reserved for fusing certain items to a boomerang. So it's not as cool in this game as the original, apparently. Giant boomerang. This massive boomerang requires two hands. Originally used for hunting, it was modified for use as a weapon. The blades and the inner curves make it a bit tricky to wield. Traveler's Claymore. A basic two-handed sword once wielded by aspiring adventurers. It's decayed and no longer cuts well, but can still knock a shield right out of enemies' hands. A basic two-handed sword once wielded by aspiring adventurers. Its immense weight can knock enemies' shields right out of their hands. Very similar to clips for those two. A soldier's claymore. Charge attack, stamina up. A lightweight metal weapon forged for royal soldiers. It's decayed now, but it's still easy to wield. But still easy to wield, so it consumes less stamina during charge attacks. I completely missed out on the fact that the regular sword and the double hand had slightly different buffs for the soldier set. Same effect, or is it knight set? Yes, it's soldier set. Because with the regular sword, your charge attack is faster, but this time your charge attack can last longer, which I guess is it's like the same ballpark idea, just a little bit different execution. An improved claymore made lightweight for easier handling. It consumes less stamina for charge attacks. Knight's Claymore. A claymore, now decayed, once carried by the Knights of Hyrule. It resonates with the desire to protect at all costs and can yield powerful attacks when you're down in your last heart. A Knight's Claymore Star. Only the strongest of Hyrule Castle's knights carry this two-handed sword. It can yield powerful attacks when you're down to your last heart. Royal Claymore, the weapon of the King of Hyrule. And actually, we got the picture at his grave here, funny enough. Improved Flurry Rush again. A large sword, now decayed, issued to the royal family's guard. It's tuned for skilled users and yields a powerful Flurry Rush during a perfect dodge. Jesus, that's been building like all stream. I have been... Oh, God. Royal Claymore, a star. A two-handed sword issued to the Hyrulean royal family's immediate guard detail. Yields a powerful strike and increases the power of Flurry Rush during a perfect dodge. Zora Longsword. I really like the look of this one. It's very pretty. With Water Warrior. A decayed Zora Longsword. It's suited for battles near water because it's made of an unusual metal that increases attack power when it's wet. I wonder if it's the same kind of metal that the Zora use for their armor. People call it silver, but it might be some sort of special, not mithril, but like, mithril is a mythical metal. Some kind of mythical metal that like soaks in water to make itself stronger. It'd be cool if they use that for their armor then. But like Yana and that other Zora tribe, they had gold armor instead, so maybe not. Zora Longsword. A longsword made by the Zora using a special metal. It's rarely used because the Zora prefer to use spears. It yields high attack power when it gets wet. Cobble Crusher. Demolisher. Ooh. In its former state, this hefty weapon knocked out many a foe. Decayed, it still packs a punch and is great for breaking. Rocks. Demolisher, that's a cool name. I think it's just because it always instant breaks like rocks, but basically any two-handed weapon that you turn into a hammer will do that. So it's not like as cool as it sounds, but still cool. And of course, yeah, the Stone Smasher. The like tier 1 version is missing. Only the tier 2 and tier 3 version of this weapon are in this game. A Goron-made two-handed weapon. It's made from thick, hard metal that has no cutting edge, but its weight and hard surface make it a great tool for breaking rocks. Boulder Breaker. This two-handed weapon was once wielded by the Goron champion Daruk. Daruk made swinging it around look easy, but a Hylian would need an immense amount of strength. That one actually has a bit of an eye at the bottom too. I think that's just coincidence in this case. Bigoron Sword. That actually is kind of fitting that the Goron weapons are all next to each other. A legendary great sword forged by a Goron craftsman for a hero who traveled through time. The exceptionally sharp cutting edge is a testament to the craftsman's mastery. Gerudo Claymore. Strong fusion again. That does not have Demolisher. A two-handed Gerudo sword with a decayed blade. Attaching material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. I forgot how many arrows you got from that little stash. Look at there, 3 bundles of 5. That's like not that much, but that's still a lot of arrows. Only the most talented Gerudo sword fighters can carry this two-handed sword. Attaching a material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. Eightfold Longblade. Wind Razor. A long blade that no longer cuts as well as it once did due to its decayed edge. However, when wielded by a proficient fighter, it cleaves the wind and creates a vacuum. And one of the cool things is we didn't use this weapon much just because like our inventory was full most of the times we killed Yiga. But the cool thing about this is when you attack, a gust of wind comes out that can hit enemies from a distance, which it did in Breath of the Wild too. But its damage, I think, has been buffed or something in this game. Or maybe it doesn't use durability in this game. It's something like that. But if you fuse like an elemental weapon to this blade, that weapon will have like an actual like elemental effect, the wind that comes off. So you can set enemies on fire from a distance without using arrows or throwing your fruit, because you could also just do that. But and apparently like one of the more useful like methods to it is like if you put like a muddle bud on this weapon, and I think maybe it's just attack, maybe it's charge attack, I can't remember what, but you attack with this weapon with a muddle bud fused on it, and you can muddle multiple enemies at once. Usually the muddle bud only works in like one enemy, maybe like 2 or 3 if you're lucky, but you can hit like the whole like team guarding a boss Boko if you put a muddle bud on this, and that's cool. A single-edged sword seldom seen in Hyrule. This weapon is passed down through the Sheikah tribe. When wielded by a proficient fighter, it cleaves the wind and creates a vacuum. Dusk Claymore. A slender claymore thought to have been handed down to the kingdom of Hyrule ages ago. The blade shines with a holy luster. I think, was this from Twilight Princess? I can't remember. I think it was. Dusk, so it makes sense if it was. Fierce Deity, that's Majora's Mask. Fierce Deity Sword. A peculiar great sword allegedly used by a hero from a world in which the moon threatened to fall. It slashes wildly in battle, as if possessed by a fierce deity. Rusty Claymore. A two-handed sword that was not properly cared for. Although it can still be used as a weapon, its durability is very low. Don't expect it to last for more than a few strikes. Weird that, like, the shitty rusty weapons are, like, between, like, the normal ones and then, like, the Royal Guard's gear. You expect these to be at, like, the very, very start of the list because they're, like, the shittiest weapon of their class. It's weird that they're in the middle. Royal Guard's Claymore. With breaking point again. A decayed Claymore prototype for the Royal Guard. It's made of a metal refined using an unusual method, and it holds massive destructive power just before it breaks. It's made out of yellow, like the tarnishing, because, like, there's a bit of, like, yellowish on, like, the gloomy tarnished decay effect always, but it looks very yellow here to the point where that looks like a regular Royal Claymore for the blade. The Sheikah used the very essence of ancient technology to forge this greatsword. Still fucking calling out ancient tech again. To forge this greatsword. It's low in durability, but its magic yields massive destructive power just before it breaks. Magic, not the technology. Thick stick. A stick cut from. Actually, hang on. And again, the shitty weapons being at the end of the list. I'm gonna go get some more water because this is thirsty. We're talking so much. That's mostly ice. Thick stick. A stick cut off from a large tree. It isn't very sturdy, but its heavier end can swat a shield away. A sturdy thick stick. It isn't very sturdy. Sturdy thick stick. A solid stick cut from the crooked branch of a tough tree. It has high durability despite the way it looks. Gnarled thick stick. It has a much bigger, like, jump and, like, attack power. Gnarled thick stick. A stick cut from a tree trunk. It's been dried to increase its hardness. It has high attack power for something made of wood. Dried to increase its hardness. Is that why it looks charred black? I thought it was just from, like, a special, like, navy color tree that was, like, super durable, but okay. I guess that makes sense a little bit. Zonite longsword. Again, the kind of, like, head on the hilt where, like, the weapon meets it, and there's, like, an eye halfway down the shaft. A large sword used by the Zonai made of Zonite. It resonates with attached on devices to slightly increase its attack power. Strong Zonite longsword. A strong, large sword used by the Zonai. Mighty Zonite longsword. A powerful, large sword used by the Zonai. Okay, yeah. Basically the same for the rest of the tip. It feathers out on the edge on that one. That one's got, like, kind of, like, spiral pattern at the end. I think these two feel a bit different than their base sword counterparts. This looks almost identical to the regular sword. It just has a longer handle. Magic scepter. A long, mysterious magical rod, said to have been wielded by an ancient magician who awoke the latent power of gems. Moblin arm. A moblin bone that continues to move even after being detached from its body. The bone is thick enough to be used as a weapon, but it's extremely brittle and easily broken. It's kind of a shame that, like, I can't really think of how you would do this, but it's a shame that there's no, like, stall monster arm that acts as a spear. Like, you could have maybe done that with the Lizzles, but then, like, how would Link swing it? You know? There's no, like, good way to make that work. Because, like, it's very much like a floppy, wacky thing. But it would have been cool if they could figure that out somehow. Gloom Club. I do like the spikes. I never noticed how far they jet out. It's pretty cool. A metal stick filled with madness and symbolic of doom. Its forceful strike can smash an object to pieces. Its gloom will gradually wear down the body. Its gloom will gradually wear down the body of its wielder. Huh. Maybe that was the tooltip for the other one, but that never really, like, clicked or occurred to me. Its gloom will gradually wear down the body of its wielder. You can't see any, like, glowing red in it, but it does do gloom damage, which implies that it does have gloom in it somewhere. Because it's called the Gloom Club. It does gloom damage, but you couldn't actually see any gloom visible on it. So I just assumed it was, like, Magic dealing like the damage to you of like it's just like, oh well, it's just a cursed object. But no, it is using gloom. It's like seeping out from it somehow. That's interesting. Long distance gloom. Is I guess kind of what I was thinking. Wooden mop. Okay, yeah, it's a spear. Wooden mop. Oh, they actually have. Oh, I'm just now noticing. Hang on, let's go back because this will be quicker. Go back to like a regular sword. Yeah, see, it's a blue little knife image on that one, and then for like the claymore weapons, it's a big yellow sword, and then for the spears, is a little like purple spear icon. I've definitely noticed the big yellow sword, but I never really thought about what it meant on like weapons when I picked them up. Was that in Breath of the Wild? Did it tell you the attack type in Breath of the Wild? That's a cool little thing there. That's nice. Wooden mop. Just a mop to the untrained eye. It excels at just a mop to the untrained eye. It excels at just tidying up the place, but it owes its sturdy construction to a true craftsman, so it actually has some combat merit. Farmer's pitchfork. A farming tool used to collect hay efficiently. It's light enough to be used by anyone. The 4 prongs are very sharp. Fishing harpoon. Weird that because the harpoon is definitely like a sharper like blade, but the pitchfork has more like points. So I guess it makes sense that they do the same damage. Fishing harpoon. Only in Lurelin Village, apparently, or I guess common location, Lurelin Village. Fisherman's tool that excels at catching large fish. Its particularly sharp spearhead makes it valuable as a weapon as well. I'm actually curious. Where were you? But or. Yeah, East of Cloud closely, not just Lurelin Village that it calls out. Throwing spear. A spear for throwing with a decayed tip. Lost its sharpness, but kept the balance perfect for throwing, enabling you to throw it very far. A specialized spear weighted to excel as a throwing weapon. It's perfectly balanced to be thrown further than your average spear, able to pierce targets from a great distance. Traveler spear. An average spear carried by travelers for protection. It's decayed and doesn't cut well, but the shape makes it easy for anyone to handle. A spear used mainly by travelers to fend off wolves and other beasts. It's easy to hold and simple to use. Weird that this is after the throwing spear, but okay. Soldier spear with quick charge. Although now decayed, this lightweight metal spear was made for royal soldiers. Because it's light and easy to handle, it enables quicker charge attacks. A long spear once used by the guards of Hyrule Castle. Easy to use but difficult to master. Enables quicker charge attacks. Knight's halberd, depth of strength. Now decayed, this halberd was made for knights of Hyrule Castle. It reflects their courage in defending the kingdom. It can yield powerful attacks when you're down to your last heart. A spear used by knights adept in mounted combat. The spearhead is modeled after an axe. It can yield powerful attacks when you're down to your last heart. And of course, this goes against the whole like one button does all philosophy of this game that I was trying to like aim for like easy to understand controls. But it is a halberd. It is a shame that there is not a stab button and a swing button. For a halberd, it would be cool if you could stab it like a spear, like you can in the game right now. But if there was an alternate button you could press to like swing it, like side to side, because like the Bokos kind of do that on horseback. They swing their weapons like around their heads. It'd be cool if you, as the player, had an option to swing the halberd as an axe and actually cut down trees and shit with it from a distance. You can kind of simulate that by fusing it to a sword in this game, I guess, but I don't think it functions as an axe. I don't think it would actually work. But maybe it does. Someone can try that. Royal Halberd. Although now decayed, the spear was once given to knights who guarded critical areas of Hyrule Castle. It enables a flurry rush during a perfect dodge. The spear was issued to the knights who guarded Hyrule Castle's throne room. It yields a powerful flurry rush during a perfect dodge. Critical areas and the throne room. The throne room is a critical area. Forest Spear. A Korok spear with a decayed tip. It's still full of vitality. Bursting materials attached to the spear can be reused again and again. The Koroks made the spear for Hylians. The shaft is made from a light, sturdy wood. Bursting materials attached to the spearhead can be used again and again. Zora Spear. A Zora Spear with a decayed point. It's made of a water-resistant metal and yields a high attack power when it gets wet. Found a little side quest with that guy, curing him of like the muck covering him. I don't know if you can miss that quest or not. Zora's Spear Star. The spear is a Zora's weapon of choice. It's made from a special metal and is used by the Zora for both fishing and protecting home. It yields high attack power when it gets wet. Light-scaled Trident. A spear of peerless grace cherished by the Zora champion Mipha. Although Mipha specialized in healing abilities, her spearmanship was in a class all its own. Oh, hold on. I'm pretty sure my Cobble Crusher, my picture for that one, was not with Yunabo. I think that was just the Cobble Crusher on its own. But for the other guys, I think I got most of them when they were on like the backs of the sages. So that's a bit of a shame that I didn't get consistency there. But also apparently, the sages actually have slightly modified versions of their weapons. I'm not entirely sure what the modifications are for all of them. For like Tulin, his like bow has like a feather from his father and a feather from his mother, like hanging off of one of the ends of it. And I think Sidon has something special about his light scale trident that's a little bit different than yours too. And also, like from like a coding perspective, their damage and whatnot is like handled a little bit differently in like the back end. But I mean, like appearance wise, there's slight differences in how they look from the ones that you can pick up. Feathered Spear, a spear used by Rito soldiers. Its point is now decayed. It still boosts quick attacks in midair and produces a strong wind. It still boasts quick attacks in midair, and it produces a strong wind. Its lightweight design is a hallmark of Rito craftsmanship. It gives Rito warriors more maneuverability during aerial combat, and it produces a strong wind. I do like the feather patterns on these guys. It's probably just because it's clipping into the snow a bit, but it looks like it has more feathers in the pristine version than the decayed version. But again, that might just be clipping issues. Gerudo Spear. A Gerudo spear with a decayed blade that is designed to draw force to its tip. Attaching a material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. This spear is used widely by Gerudo soldiers. Attaching material greatly enhances the material's power, but doesn't add as much durability. Rusty Halberd. A rusty pole arm likely used by knights from an age past. The spearhead is in bad shape due to prolonged exposure to the elements, so its durability is low. Royal Guard Spear. A prototype spear wielded by knights. It's made from a special metal with low durability, but which yields massive destructive power just before it breaks. This Sheikah-made spear was created using ancient technology. It has poor durability, but the magic it contains yields massive destructive power just before it breaks. Oh, oops. Long Stick. A long stick fashioned from a tree branch. Its straight shape makes it work well as a lunging weapon. And actually, I think, thanks to the whole fuse mechanic, you can make very convincing spears with this guy. With like a lot of the weapons, the like connection between like the handle and the tip can look awkward, but like a spear at the end of the day is often just a sharp thing taped to the end of a stick. So like the monster horns on the end of a stick does look like a caveman spear in like every instance. So that's kind of fun. Sturdy long stick. Extra durable. Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting that it's an actual perk. You wouldn't think that because it should just be a long durable stick made from a branch with good piercing power. It has high durability because it comes from the hardest part of the tree. But then this doesn't have extra durable. That's a little bit weird. Because everything in the game has different like durability values. Is that supposed to indicate that this is higher durability than this one? Maybe? Because I don't think it does. Whatever. A long stick made bumpy at one end when its shoots were cut off. It has higher attack power than a normal stick. Zonite Spear. A Zonite Spear made of Zonite. Resonates with attached Zonite devices to slightly increase its attack power. Tough Spear tough spear used by the Zonai. A strong Zonite Spear. Mighty Zonite Spear. A powerful Zonite Spear made of Zonite. And it's weird that it took us so long to get this one in our compendium, because I swear we had like a lot of these from chests and shit. I just never took a picture of them for forever. Magic Staff. A long rod with a bit of magic. It is said to have been wielded by an ancient magician who awoke the latent power of gems. I actually wonder if the attack bout, because they're so far apart. I guess we can check now. The staff has an attack power of 4. The scepter has an attack power of 7. And the magic rod has an attack power of 6. So yeah, their like attack power does follow the general trend of spear, one-handed, double hand. So that's kind of interesting. A gloom spear, a spear whose ominous appearance strikes fear into hearts. It is said to cost its bearer a part of their soul because its gloom will gradually wear down the body of its wielder. Arrow. Lyman got in the way there. Oops, oops. Common arrow. Its shaft was carved from the wood of a sturdy tree. Its shaft was carved from the wood of a sturdy tree. You get like hundreds of arrows in this game. There's no way that every single one was carved from the hilt of a sturdy tree. I believe like the Lionel ones from being a sturdy tree. I believe like the shop ones, they'd maybe want to put higher quality into them. But were the Bocos really carving every single arrow they use out of a sturdy tree? I doubt that. Old wooden bow. Okay, well, of course, because we just did arrows. Now we're into the bow section, which again has a little special image, has a little like white bow image, which I feel like doesn't. I feel like it's not as necessary because the bow and the shields they have, unless of course like they differentiate between multi-shot and long-range bows. Maybe there are images to differentiate that. Okay, maybe there would be a point of these images. We'll see as we go through them. Old wooden bow. A wooden bow from the olden days. It's built for hunting, but it's not very powerful. I wonder how many animals in this game 4 damage is actually enough to kill. Because most of them are pretty weak. But I remember in the original game there were some that like, especially like the boars, there were a decent amount that could like tank 2 hits, even from like a 10, 12 damage bow. So I don't know how well this would actually work for hunting. Wooden bow, not an old wooden bow, just a wooden bow. Same attack power, maybe it has more durability though. Wooden bow may not be the most reliable for battling monsters, but it's excellent for hunting small animals. See, small animals. Traveler's bow. A small bow used by travelers for protection. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it can be used to attack foes from a distance. Soldier's bow. A bow designed for armed conflict. It inflicts more damage than a civilian bow, but it will still burn if it touches fire. Knight's bow. The sturdy metal construction of this bow offers superior durability, while its lack of firing quirks makes it quite reliable, once favored by the knights of Hyrule Castle. Royal bow. In the past, the King of Hyrule presented this bow to only the most talented archers in the land. Its combat capabilities are as impressive as its extravagant design. Forest Dweller's bow. I forgot that had triple shot. But yeah, same actual bow image though. It just has a ×3 next to the number. The Koroks made this bow for Hylians. It's crafted from flexible wood and uses sturdy vines for the bowstring. Its construction may be simple, but it fires multiple arrows at once. I do like the curvy, almost cello-like design, which no, you can't say that about the other Korok weapons. No, it's just a very pretty bow. I like the curviness. Zora bow, a bow favored by the Zora for fishing. It doesn't boast the highest firepower, but the special metal it's crafted from prioritizes durability. The special metal it's crafted from prioritizes durability. Swallow bow. This bow is a favorite among Rito warriors. The bowstring has been specially engineered for aerial combat, which allows it to be drawn faster than a normal bow. Yeah, see, no special image for quick charge. Although, yeah, I know this is the same image. I thought this one looked a little bit pointier and yellow, but no. Falcon bow. A highly refined Rito-made bow created by a master Rito craftsman. Rito warriors favor it for its superior rate of fire, which helps them excel even further in aerial combat. I actually wonder, because it says in aerial combat, faster bow helps, but like, I wonder whether or not it actually does. Because in the original Breath of the Wild, bullet time consumed stamina based on how long you were in bullet time. And so having a bow that fired faster would legitimately help you get out more shots in bullet time. But in this game, they changed it so now the stamina is not consumed until you fire an arrow. And then it uses up like a specific amount of stamina based on how many arrows you fire. So I wonder whether this uses less stamina while in bullet time. Because if it does, then it still is technically helping you fire faster. But if not, then that actually doesn't affect much in midair. Which, that's me nitpicking. It's just supposed to be lore because the Rito can fly. But like, just throwing that out there. Great Eagle Bow. A bow without equal wielded by the Rito champion Revali. It is said Revali could loose arrows with the speed of a gale. making him supreme in aerial combat. See, actually, you can see what I was talking about. There's two little feathers at the bottom, on like the bottom of the bow there. One of them is based on Teba, and one of them is based off of like the pink lady that is his wife that I forget the name of. And also, I think the blue ribbon is also like exclusive to Tulin's version or something like that. Gerudo bow. A Gerudo made bow, very close damage actually to the Great Eagle bow, the Gerudo bow. This Gerudo made bow is popular for the fine ornamentations along its limbs. Designed for hunting and warfare alike, this bow was engineered to strike at distant targets. Oh, so it doesn't have the long shot? I can't remember how many had the long shot. Phrenic bow. A bow passed down through the Sheikah tribe. Concentrating before drawing the string will allow you to target distant enemies as easily as those nearby. Weird that that's not mentioned as like a perk under properties of like, yeah, like the multi shot is called out as like a property technically, but it's weird that like quick shot as like a base power is not mentioned, or long sniper distance is not mentioned as like a power underneath it. That's a little bit weird. Royal Guards bow. This prototype Sheikah made bow was designed to fight the Great Calamity. Made with ancient technology, it boasts a high rate of fire and fire. It boasts a high rate of fire and firepower, but has low durability. Common locations unknown. It's just in Hyrule Castle, isn't it? That's weird. Dusk bow. A bow that's said to be in the royal family for ages. Said to have been used by a princess who fought beasts of twilight. It forcefully fires long-range arrows. Boko bow. A basic bokoblin bow made of wood. It's made by taking any tree branch and just tying a string to either end. So don't expect much in the way of combat effectiveness. It is the same damage as the old wooden bow and the wooden bow, though. Spiked Boko bow. An upgraded Boko bow bound with animal bone to boost its durability and firepower. Its craftsmanship is sloppy, but it's light and easy to use. Dragon Bone Boko bow. A Boko bow reinforced by fossils. Bokoblins handpicked the materials it's made. Bokoblins handpicked the materials it's made from, so it boasts a respectable firepower. And like I'll talk about this a little bit more. One of the few instances of all of the upgrade tiers of the original game showing up in this game. The like 3 stages of Boko bow. There's actually 4 stages of Boko bow. Yeah, the bows still have their stages, which makes sense because you can't fuse to them technically. Lizzle bow, a wooden bow created by Lizalfos. It's reinforced by the bones of a large fish, a marked improvement over any standard wooden bow. Are those fish bones? Very spiky for fish bones, but okay, I believe you. A strengthened Lizzle bow, a Lizzle bow with a grip reinforced by metal. The body is made from the branches of a flexible tree that grows near water, which offers some serious destructive power. Steel Lizzle bow. This bow is wielded by Lizalfos, who are expert marksmen. The metal that reinforces much of the weapon adds some additional weight, but offers heightened durability. And 36 damage, actually. That's very good. The royal bow normally does 38. Lionel bow. A Lionel-made bow crafted from rough metal. True to the vicious nature of Lionel weaponry, it fires a spread of multiple arrows at once, ideal for taking down quick-moving targets. Although the Lionel's rain from above, hellfire from above attack has been massively nerfed in this game, apparently, which I did kind of experience fighting them a little bit. It's not like as much of a like guaranteed death sentence as it used to be, and it doesn't clip through walls quite as much as it used to, which was intended, but still felt immersion breaking. By the Lionel bow. Oh, interesting that it's up by 10, but then up by 12 for the last stage. A mighty Lionel bow. This massive Lionel bow sports a bowstring made from a metal so tough, mere Hylians have trouble drawing it back. Savage Lionel bow. This Lionel bow is made from a special metal. This Lionel bow is made from a special steel found at the peak of Death Mountain. It has tremendous stopping power and can pierce thick armor as easily as thin paper. Duplex bow. A bow favored by the skilled archers of the Yiga clan. A bow favored by the skilled archers of the Yiga clan. It's been engineered to fire 2 arrows at once to ensure your target comes to a swift and none too pleasant halt. I do like the spikes on one end of it and the red and black stripes. It almost looks like a snake, almost with red, black, and yellow. Very cool bow. I do like it. It's so curvy though. I imagine that IRL it wouldn't be that effective. Construct bow. I just now noticing the eye in the middle of the construct bow. That's kind of cool. A bow used by a captain construct. Though simply built, it's made of fireproof materials and won't catch fire as wooden bows do. Oh. Can only the captains use bows? No, the soldiers can definitely use bows. Because, like, that one, like... Because I was going to that one, like, naked shrine to farm the, like, tier 2 captain construct in it over and over again. And his soldier minions kept peppering him with arrows. So now the soldiers can use bows. But it'd be kind of interesting. I do like how the captains use the bows, though. Just, like, rotating it in their hand. It's kind of funny. Actually, now that I say it out loud, it gives me Bionicle vibes. Like, the way that the captain constructs attach weapons. But, like, that's a whole other thing. Strong construct bow. It's a bit fancier. A sturdy bow for a captain construct. Besides being fireproof, it's been strengthened to allow for more powerful shots. Mighty construct bow. 24 damage durability. This one actually has 2 eyes. Oh, no, 3 eyes. It's got an eye on each mouth, and it still has the eye in the center. Interesting. A powerful bow for a captain construct. Though still fireproof, it's more complex than earlier models. The bowstring is extremely tense and requires great strength to draw. Zonite bow. A zonite bow that draws power from your energy cell. Power drains and arrows can fly much farther according to how long the shot has been charged. This one does not. Well, this one actually does have eyes because like there's different heads of like animals on it, but it doesn't have like the forward-facing eyes from the other ones. It's weird that I actually think, design-wise, I think like all the construct bows, maybe not the first one, but the 2 and 3 construct bows are actually a bit cooler than the zonite bow. Just throwing that out there. Demon King's bow, 60 damage. I wonder actually because it does 60 damage now because I have max hearts. I wonder if that changes in the compendium. If you got rid of a bunch of your hearts or if you had a bunch of gloom hearts, would the compendium live update to show you how much damage? And then also, like, does it not say 60 until you hit max hearts? Does it start out? I wonder how this works. I wonder if this starts out with like the damage that you discover the bow at and then upgrades as time goes on. Is it always locked in at 60? Or like, is it based on your current heart value? I wonder how that works. A magical bow prized by the Demon King. Its performance reflects the power of its wielder. The higher your maximum number of hearts, the more its attack power increases. Okay, on to shields now. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. Just want to say, I'm not crazy in thinking that the royal bow is just objectively the best bow in the game, because at 38 damage, the only things that outpace it are the Royal Guard's bow and the Demon King bow. And both of those have much, much worse durabilities. But since you can get the Royal Bow from basically any Hinox and a lot of the likes, it is way, way more common to get those bows than the Royal Guard's bow or the Demon King bow, in addition to its higher durability. The Savage Lionel bow is very close damage-wise, 32, and it has triple and or 5-shot. And so that can theoretically do more damage, but you're not guaranteed to hit more than one of the arrows. You have to be fighting like a big enemy or using key size to make sure all those arrows hit. And so just like from an all-around perspective of managing availability to get damage and durability, the Royal Bow is just the best one, right? I mean, I'll take the Lionel bows too, but like, it's just kind of the best one. Although maybe it can't get as much attack up as the Lionel bows. That's also possible. Because I have seen it get into the 40s. But have I seen the Savage Lionel bow with higher? I don't know. Because I think 42, I've definitely I have like a 42 Savage Lionel bow on me right now, I'm pretty sure. I think the highest I've gotten with a Royal bow was 48, I think. But anyway, on to shields. The Hylian shield. It's a bit of a shame the bow of light isn't in this game to like be the first bow either. Hylian shield, 90 as a base shield durability, and again it's a white image of a shield, just like the bow, which does feel a little bit lame, but whatever. A shield passed down by the Hyrulean royal family, along with the legend of the hero who wielded it. Its defensive capabilities and durability outshine all other shields. Pot lid. I'm gonna throw it out there. I think if they're going to bother including the little weapon image to tell you the type of weapon, it would be cool if they could have like maybe like a arrow being drawn, or like a longbow kind of style bow for the sniper bows, and then like 3 arrows jutting out for the multi-shot bows. I think that would be cool. And then for the shields, use this for most shields. But if there's a shield that can damage your enemy, add like spikes to it. That's my idea. Hylian Shield. A shield passed down through the Hyrulean royal family, along with the legend of the hero who wielded it. Its defensive capabilities and durability outshine all other shields. And it has both the family crest and the Triforce. Pot lid. The lid of a large soup pot. It smells vaguely of poultry broth. Yum. It can take quite a beating before breaking. Old wooden shield. I like the Zonai eye on it. An aged, worn-out wooden shield. It can withstand lighter attacks, such as arrows. Wooden shield. This lightweight, simple shield is ideal for less experienced fighters. It can withstand light attacks, but blocking stronger blows is not recommended. I like the kind of compass flower look of it. Emblazoned shield, the shield features a traditional design from the Clutta. Its combat capabilities aren't much better than that of the standard wooden shield, but it's found popularity for the design. It actually has a very similar, of course, the deer on it, but I'm just now noticing that its color scheme is like the same as the Hylian tunic, as a default Hylian tunic. That's kind of cool. Because you buy that in Clutta and you get the shield in Clutta, technically. Hunter's shield with the 2 doofy rabbits. Favored by hunters for its rabbit design, which is said to bring luck on hunts. It's easy to use, but its durability leaves something to be desired. And yeah, these are better than like the wooden shield, but still kind of shit. Fisherman's shield. Often carried by fishermen for its fish design, which represents hope of a great catch. Its light wooden construction makes it convenient to take onto a boat. Traveler's shield. It's a little bit sturdier with like the double dragon snakes. And or seahorses, probably supposed to be dragon snakes. A sturdy shield loved by many an adventurer. It's made of animal hide and sturdy wood, and is best suited to defending against weak monsters or animals. Huh? Yeah, that is stretched hide. Interesting. It's like 2 pieces of stretched hide. That's kind of cool. Soldier's shield. Oh, is this stretched hide too? This does not look like it. That looks like wood that's been scarred and potched. A shield could be metal though, I guess too. A shield was used by the guards of Hyrule Castle. It's easy to handle, but its core is made of wood. Yeah, so it can catch fire. And also it's kind of blue, which actually no, for the soldier and or knight set, that does fit in. I was thinking royal guard in the gold and the purple, but yeah, no, yeah, that does still track. A knight's shield, a shield favored by the knights who serve the Hyrulean royal family. Its sturdy metal construction makes it quite durable. But its weight requires decent skill to wield. One of my favorite shields. Quite a fan of that one. I also like this one. I also like this one. The shape of the shield mainly is what makes these two so cool to me. Royal shield, a shield issued to the Hyrulean royal family's immediate guard detail. It boasts high defense, but these days it's more a collector's item due to its ornamentation. Forest Dweller's shield, again the curvy sort of like cello design. Actually, it does look a lot like a treble clef, the like leafy bits on the ends. The Korok's made this shield specifically for Hylians. It's made from the finest hardwood of trees that grow only in the Korok forest, so it's sturdier than it looks. I'm actually going to point it out here. Because I know like sometimes people will make like memes or jokes about how the Koroks would be mad about Link cutting down a bunch of trees for wood and shit like that. But like, all of the Korok weapons are made of wood. And this highlights that they do harvest wood from their own forest to make their weapons. So they're cool with woodsmanship and craftsmanship. It's just like, since they're forest spirits, they would get mad if you cut down too many trees. It's like, you using them is fine. It's just don't go hog wild with it. Zora shield, one of my favorite shields. I love how flowy and curvy it is. Zora, I just love all the Zora set. It's cool. A Zora-made shield adorned with intricate ornamentation. It's said that the true masters of the shield can redirect attacks as a rock redirects rushing water. Kite shield. Rito warriors cherish the shield. Its unique shape is designed with mid-battle flight in mind to facilitate aerial combat. I like the little tassels at the bottom, the beak design at the top. Although the image in the middle, I don't remember that being used by the Rito much, but maybe it was. Gerudo shield. The design of this metal shield has changed over time to match the Gerudo's sword-to-shield fighting set. The Gerudo's sword and shield fighting style. The Gerudo's sword and shield fighting style. It's favored by soldiers and travelers alike. Radiant Shield, bit of a funky shape to it, the teardrop thing. This extravagant shield is presented to Gerudo warriors who rise to the rank of captain. Its apparent opulence is rivaled only by its combat capabilities. Daybreaker. This shield was cherished by the Gerudo champion Urbosa. The gold used to make by the Gerudo champion Urbosa. The gold used to make it was hand-pitched to ensure a design that is both lightweight and very durable. And I do love the look of it. It's a very pretty shield. It is a very pretty shield. I mean, they're all kind of pretty, but like this one, it's just very nice. Shield of the Mind's Eye. I remember loving this one in Breath of the Wild. It was one of like my first shields. I think I even saved it and put it in my house in Atino Village. But it's not like a great shield. And I feel like in real life, it would be very practical. Because like it's cool that it's kind of shaped like the trying eye, but like that leaves some massive gaps for attacks to actually hit you. A small Sheikah-made shield. Its design is intended to decrease blind spots without sacrificing too much defense. And I think it has sacrificed a decent bit of defense, especially because like the blind spots, if you'd have to like hold the shield like upside down in order for you to actually see through those gaps, realistically. Or I guess you could probably see underneath you, depending on how you're holding it. A Sea Breeze Shield. A shield said to have been the favorite of a hero who traveled to open seas. It was apparently a family heirloom, passed down through many generations. Actually, I don't know when we're gonna do the closed like showcase stream. Originally, I wanted to do that in the Atino dye shop so we could check out like the dye options too. But now that I think about it, it would actually be kind of cool to like do it in the house so you could get the weapons off the wall for the respective hero. That might be cool to do. A shield said to the favorite of a hero traveled to open seas. It was apparently a family heirloom, passed down through many generations. I do like the sort of like lion bat thing in the bottom there. It's very funky. And actually, 65 is nothing to scoff at, too. That's actually very good durability or damage protection. Like, most of the amiibo weapons are just, like, okay weapons. Better in this game than they were in Breath of the Wild. But that's a pretty good shield. Rusty Shield. This is the two wooden shields. It's likely this rusty old shield once belonged to a knight. It still has some defensive capabilities, but its usefulness has been worn down by time. Royal Guard Shield. This shield was forged using ancient Sheikah technology. It boasts extremely high stopping power, but its structural weaknesses made its low durability impractical for combat. Bucko Shield. A bokoblin-made shield created by attaching a handhold to any flat tree bark picked up off the ground. It's pretty shoddy, so don't expect it to last very long. It's got all the gnarled bumps of the tree in it still. Spiked Bucko Shield. A Bucko Shield made of slightly stronger wood and reinforced with animal bones. Dragonbone Bucko Shield. A Bucko Shield is reinforced with fossilized bone. Its defensive capabilities are respectable, but its predictably slipshod craftsmanship spells low durability. Lizzle Shield. I love the Lizzle Shields too. Like all the Lizzle stuff is like pretty cool. I'm a bit upset about the boomerangs not being like all of them being in this game. A common shield found among the Lizalfos. It's made of metal, but its sloppy craftsmanship offers poor durability. Reinforced Lizzle Shield. This Lizzle Shield has been strengthened by adding a different type of metal to the mix. The edge is lined with spikes, so handle with care. Steel Lizzle Shield. This Lizzle Shield is adorned with several metal shells as a means of reinforcement. Its defensive capabilities are high, but its weight requires a skilled soldier to bear. Zonite Shield. A shield wielded by Zonai made of Zonite. It lowers the energy consumption of an attached Zonai device. Oh! I thought it like boosts like the damage or something, but no, it makes it use less battery. That's kind of cool. And it is kind of like the same design but bigger. A strong Zonite Shield. A shield used by Zonai and made of Zonite. It is moderately durable and lowers the energy consumption of an attached Zonai device. Mighty Zonite Shield. And this one is not only like more complex, but also entirely gold. And it's got a little like eye hanging out the bottom and shit. And when like it actually glows as you activate it, it looks badass. Shield used by the Zonai made of Zonai. It is very durable and draws on its stored energy to It's very durable and draws on its stored energy to more efficiently use an attached Zonai device. And they have the little like hand thing that the Captain Constructs have, and that the swords have on them too for like plugging into shit. And Mineru has Lionel Shield, a sturdy shield favored by Lionels for its defensive and offensive capabilities. First and foremost, a shield, but the bladed edges can deal slashing attacks and deflecting. Mighty Lionel Shield. I like the two chains. This Lionel made. Oh, by the way, we hit 500. Actually, kind of cool that that's number 500. Mighty Lionel Shield. This Lionel made shield has been reinforced with armor and even more blades. Stronger in both defense and offense. It can tear through basic armor when deflecting. Savage Lionel Shield. This ultimate Lionel Shield is favored by the white main Lionels, and also silver. It excels at defending against even the most brutal of attacks and cutting down powerful foes when deflecting. Akala Highlands. Central Highland Depths. Akala Highlands. That's not Deep Akala. Deep Akala and Akala Highlands, those are not the same thing, are they? Akala Highlands is like because like the only Lionel I can think of in Akala is the one in like the Rock Forest, and I thought that one was red, not white. So how could you find this there? Maybe I'm forgetting something. Treasure. Oh, and we're done with all the weapons. And so now we're on to the treasures, which we're just gonna like blow through here real quick. Recoverable items, treasures. You don't say the treasure chests you can recover treasures from. That's crazy. Fortunes untold, potentially, await the lucky adventurer who finds one of these. Chests can often be found within shrines or at enemy camps, but there may be some crafty folks who think they're safer underground. They're only half buried, though, when they're underground. Ore deposit. This deposit contains a good deal of ore. Breaking the rock will yield rock salt, flint, and other ore and minerals of varying value. Rare ore deposit. Actually, treasure chest. Yeah, they'll just say Greater Hyrule. Rare ore deposit. Can no longer drop flint and rock salt. So theoretically should. What? No, it still drops flint. But it can no longer drop rock salt, which makes sense. And it no longer drops opal. That's a little bit dumb. That's weird. Why is it like that? You'd think that if anything was going to be cut, it'd be amber, because amber sells for less than opal. But rare ore deposit. This deposit contains a good deal of precious ore and the occasional rare mineral. The ruby and sapphire of precious ore and the occasional rare mineral, like ruby and sapphire. Break it open to see what it has to offer. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've just had bad luck. But the rare ore deposits feel worse in this game. I don't know if I'm insane, but it feels like I was getting just flint and occasionally amber from the rare ore deposits. So often. Occasionally, I would get the rubies, diamonds, and sapphires, but like not to the degree that I ever got them in Breath of the Wild. And it feels a little bit ridiculous, especially because of how many extra gems you need to upgrade shit in this game. But luckily, the rare chalices are a thing, and they made up for it. Because they actually did have decent rare ore drops. Luminous stone deposit, luminous stone and flint. This deposit contains a good deal of luminous stone. Crack it open to get at the easily processed rocks. Within. You process luminous stones? I guess yeah, because you turn them into dye for the luminous set. Wasn't that the lore of it? I guess that would involve processing. Zonite deposit. This deposit glows with mysterious energy, and it's very common in the depths. If you crack it open, you can claim the zonite within. This deposit glows with mysterious energy, and it's very common in the depths. If you crack it open, you can claim the zonite within. That one's also Greater Hyrule. And this one is the depths. Zonite and the large zonite. The two things that I think are very interesting about the large zonite is like not only is it like bigger, because of course it's large, but its bluish green thing is like a bit more blue and more glowy. It's not very noticeable in like the images here, but in like the overworld drop when you put it on the ground, it is like very much more blue than the basic zonite. And also it still has a little bit of it. You can see it there, but it has less of like the rotting flesh, rusted metal sort of copper color that the small zonite has, which I find interesting. I don't know if there's any lore implications of that, or if it's just because like that's like the outer covering, the black and the brown, and then like the blue is the inner part of the ore. So like you got more of the inner part, might be all that there is to it, but still, it could be something. And in the well, recoverable items, materials. Yeah, what can you get from there? Yeah, materials. Well, a hole dug in the earth to draw water from underground can be found in stables, towns, and sometimes even ruins, home to a variety of unique fauna and flora. It's not actually a home to a unique variety of fauna and flora. All the fauna and flora you find in wells, you can find in caves too. They're the exact same assets. Yeah, 509 items. And I assumed for some of the earlier entries that Greater Hyrule meant everything but Central Hyrule. But you can find lots of wells and ore deposits in Central Hyrule too. So I think that just means all of the surface is what Greater Hyrule means. Okay. So that's all the Hyrule Compendium read through. I think before we end the stream, though, I do want to give like a quick thought on the equipment tab. Which I guess this could technically be a part of my review, but I want to talk about it now. It is interesting how many weapons that they cut from the original game. There's a lot of weapons in the original game, like the Demon Carver, the Drill Shaft, the Iron Hammer, and like the extra stages of the Lizzle Boomerang that just aren't in this game anymore. And I think there's like three. It's either there's like 2 or 3. Wait, is it 3? There's 2 definite reasons. I thought I had 3 reasons, but I can only think of 2 of them now. But there's like 2 or 3 like main reasons that I think that they did that. First and foremost, actually, I remember the third one was now. Okay, yeah. The first reason is quite obviously it's because of the fuse, mechanic. For things like Lizzle Boomerang, strong Lizzle Boomerang, and like reinforced Lizzle Boomerang, there's not really much need to have those weapon tiers now. Now that you have both the regular and pristine weapons, which already gives you a upgrade to the attack power, but also you can just fuse any weapon with a material to change its properties and change its attack power. So like the like durability and swing methodology of the weapon is now all that like really matters. Having that like variety of attack methods of like a base weapon is not as important because you can make so many more extra weapons. Which is why, like, for the bows and the shields, they still do have the multiple tiers of bows and shields. But for most of the, like, handheld weapons, they don't have that anymore. Reason number 2 would probably have to do a bit with... okay, now I'm already forgetting. I just remembered them all, and I've all forgotten them all now. Fuse to improve attack power. So you don't need quite as many. But then also, between the regular and the pristine weapons, again, that also affects things of like whether or not you need to have like the different weapon tiers and whether or not and fuse affects weapon types that you need to have too. But with the pristine, that really like that basically, not entirely, but that basically doubles the amount of materials in the equipment tab. And I think there was around 170 pieces of equipment in the original game too. And so in order to keep like this tab like reasonably sized and not make it like bloated too much for filling out your compendium, it would make sense to like cut out some of the secondary items, at least to like some degree. And the third reason that I think is probably the main reason that they did this, why they cut out so many weapon types, is because of the special status effects. They didn't do it for every weapon in this game, but for a lot of the weapons, they tried to add things like, oh, it makes your Flurry Rush do more damage. It lets you charge your charge attacks a little bit quicker. It does higher damage when you're low on health. They have a lot more like modifiers like that added to the weapons. I think coming up with additional modifiers for the other like remaining weapons might have been difficult. And if they didn't have a special modifier, people would question why they were in the game as like a base weapon component anyway. And then, like I said with the fuse materials, like there's stuff like hammers and axes, but you don't really need hammers and axes anymore because you can just fuse like the rocks and the flat rocks to them. And then you have them. I think that it's still like a little bit of a shame that so many weapons from the original game are cut. The only one I really feel like that bad about would be the rods. I think that the magic scepters are like a fair enough replacement for all the different types of rod. but like it is like a little bit of a disappointment that so many like the iconic weapons from the original have been cut. And it definitely would affect like challenge runs and stuff of this game of like picking out like your set. And there's some like bits where it's like a little bit weird too, where it's like, okay, so for like shields, you kept all 3 stages of the Gerudo shields, but you only have 2 stages of the stone Goron weapon. You know, there's stuff like that. That's a little bit weird, but like, okay, sure, I can see how like you might have like bloated the weapon cache too much if you included everything, but I still miss a lot of them. And I might even have to like go back to Breath of the Wild at some point, just to, like look at what everything that they cut. Because apparently, like they also cut things like the Hardy Durian and the Water Buffalo, or not the Water Buffalo, the Woolly Rhino. And so I might have to go through sometime and see like what all is not in this game anymore. Because there's definitely like more than you'd expect. Some things that they probably had no real reason to cut, like why did the Yiga only use the Sheikah weapons anymore instead of their exclusive Yiga weapons for the actual game? You know, something like that. Okay, so little mini rant there that it was kind of like because I'm so tired and it's so late and I didn't really like plan it out super far beforehand. Just kind of all over the place rant there. But that out of the way. Now we've finished the Hyrule Compendium. So I think we're going to call it there. I think next time we're probably going to read through the adventure log and the character profiles. I think that'd be a good thing to do next time. But we'll do that later. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye.